The NerdTable.
Can I see your sword quick?
It's called Uramasa. He carries it with him everywhere. It was mostly a wedding gift from his wife before he was turned into a half Nihilak monster.
Chris.
Gengar, use Shadow Ball!
Allie. Jason.
My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. I'm going to restore my clan and destroy a certain someone.
The Half-Beard.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die. But you can take it, can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
The NerdTable.
Freaking nerds, bro.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, buddy. Woo!
You know what? This music's great. By the way, it's like an actual band, and all I'm thinking is Keith and me playing
Yes.
Mr. Goff right in the front. Listen, you have some not explaining to do,
Explaining,
but
okay.
you have to defend your point, okay? Carlos has been ripping you.
Who cares about Carlos, man? Listen.
Carlos been ripping you because explain how.
There's
First of
always
all-
a new guy ripping Keith.
For the listeners, out
Hey-o.
there, this is a thing back in the sports table. First of all, you took me out of context.
What'd I say?
First of all, you said,
Yeah,
he hates your
jackass.
music.
You said he sucked.
No, I did not say it sucked. I said it sucked for the actual purpose of what it needs to be in the show.
Right.
Obviously, you want a fun show, a happy show, a high energy show. But then you got two guys freaking sitting there saying, "Hey, man,
I'm so tired."
Remember when we used to do this back in the Florida? Yeah, man, I remember when we do that back in Florida. All right, remember the thing we used to play back? Okay, yeah, man. And the 40 minutes of this thing, and then they finally go, bing, bong, bong, dong, bong, bong. I'm okay, and I'm there. I'm like, oh man, this is really great music. But where do you usually listen to this music? When you're sitting down, relaxing, having a beer, smoking a cigar. Not when you're about to have a high energy sports talk show. Yes, the music is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's mind blowing. When you're high, sitting down on a bench. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm gonna cut that and edit it to where he doesn't acknowledge Carlos at all, and I'm gonna play for him on the sports table.
Do that. Do that. Okay. Now back to the song that is playing on right now.
Which is a great song.
It's an amazing song. It's from Metal Gear. Oh my god, I can't speak because I'm so excited about it. Metal Gear Solid series. This is basically it's like a orchestral mashup between Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. I picked this song. Obviously, Sanchez, you said pick your favorite theme song.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really ridiculous. And so how do you pick from the myriad of games out there that I've played? How do you pick your favorite? I mean, it's crazy. I just picked one that in light of PS4 coming out tomorrow, I said, I got to pick my favorite PS PlayStation game. And that's the Metal Gear Solid series. And that's one of my favorite themes of freaking all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was very, very relevant to, you know, the things coming up. And I mean, if you listen to it, especially that orchestral arrangement, it's beautiful. You have the people singing in the background. You have the entire band there. It's going back to beautiful music, great music. That would be just, if it wasn't even a game, it would just be beautiful, amazing music.
Right, just to sit and listen to.
Just sit and listen to.
Jason, you said you're going to. What concert are you going to?
It's called Distant Worlds. Music from Final Fantasy is the entire title.
Mm-hmm. I went to the Star Wars Orchestra. They came to Miami. They were actually touring. They came to where the Panthers play in the Bank Atlantic. Bank?
It's the
Bank Atlantic.
It's BB&T now, I think.
Okay. Well, it used to be called the Bank Atlantic
Bank
Center.
Atlantic Center.
And it was amazing because they had the actual actor C-3PO. He was the MC.
Oh my gosh.
He would come walk like him, come to the front, and
Anthony Daniels.
And he would come and speak and lay forth, and then as the music's playing, they had cuts throughout all 6 movies. It was fantastic. Greg actually came with me. It was phenomenal. There was a what's the jump Kickstarter, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah. Where people help out.
Right, where people try to start something and then they ask for money and then they get special bonuses to it. There's a Kickstarter of a Pokemon orchestra that's coming out with music of X, Y, and all strings, flutes, the whole thing. What is it about putting pop culture, video game, whatever you want to say, into orchestra music? Why is, when you think Hans Zimmerman and John Williams, why do they stick out more than other people in regards to music or entertainment wise with video games and movies?
I would say that it's just by their style. It has a weight, almost like a power to it, and especially Hans Zimmer. He uses a lot of bass and a lot of it's a movement of a lower range of sound.
Mm-hmm.
And video games are a perfect example for that. It's a movement of sound. It's a myriad of themes of different styles, and to put it in an orchestra where you can really develop that sound with so many different instruments, and you can add in a choir. It's first of all, it's beautiful music, but then even more with just digital music, it's now physical music with instruments and actual voices.
Right. I mean, and it affects the gameplay, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
When you're driving in Halo 1, for the Halo 1 fans. Yeah, exactly. And you're on the Warthog, you're crossing over a bridge, and that music comes up over the. You just get
you get pumped.
You get amped.
You get pumped. You get really pumped.
What are other video game moments where that kind of happens, where you're playing something and the music kicks in?
God of War. Yeah, God of War is a great example of that.
Their set pieces, particularly in 3, were so epic in scale. Like, you're climbing, and then it pans out as the music going da 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 da, and it's doing the whole beautiful orchestra thing is panning out, and you realize what you're climbing is a Titan, who itself is climbing a mountain to get to the gods, and it pans back, and the whole time you're still fighting, like the
entire time.
It becomes part of the identity of the entire experience. I think that's where nerds begin to love the music, and then begin to want it more in an orchestra sense. They want the best version of it because the music is it's an identity to the games they love.
I think music, since we've been able to put music to, moving pictures, or film it, it's really brought about a whole new world. They used to play movies and then have someone playing the piano in front of it just to add to the scene, and it really does all the music. I remember talking about video games back when PlayStation 1, I think it was. I had a Star Wars fighting game. I don't remember exactly what it's called.
Wasn't it Jedi Power Battles?
Jedi Power Battles, I think it was. It was amazing. And on top of that, a little secret Easter egg they added to that game. You can get the PlayStation disc and put it in a CD player, and it would play the soundtrack from the game, which was, mostly John Williams' score, Star Wars stuff. But I always thought that was amazing because I'd take it out. I'd take it after playing. I'd have to go out somewhere. I'd put it in my, Walkman.
Yeah.
I click the little no skip button on, and then I'd go out and listen to my CD.
Why would people not have that on? Why would people want a no skip off?
Well, because sometimes you're just sitting down in like a
But what does it
chair
do? What
listening
does
to music.
What does the no skip
The
off
no skip
do?
is like if you're moving with it.
No, I know, but why would you have it on? Like, why would you ever want the ability for it to skip? I don't get it.
Maybe it's power consumption.
Yeah, because it takes
Okay.
more power from the battery. Believe me, so many batteries I went through in my Walkman. I had a Walkman that lasted. It was like the plastic broke, so it wouldn't close. So I had to have a rubber band around it. The numbers that showed you which number on the CD was next was kind of like faded, so you didn't know if it was like a 3 or if it was an 8. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it worked until MP3 players came out.
Do you guys have a movie or a video game experience where the music kicks in and you're just goosebumps up and down?
I would say the most recent one is actually it's actually a different point. I mean, it has to do with music, but also actually an aspect of what we had in band.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most important part of playing a music is not the actual notes, is the rest. Because that is like it makes the music more powerful because you emphasize the rest. A game, Last of Us, it uses that so well. It's basically kind of zombie, but it's not zombie. It's more like an infection, a fungus in the brain. And there's this one part where it's all dark. You can't see anything. And then, there's a little music, and all of a sudden the music stops.
Oh, God.
Completely. You're in a dark room, and all you can hear is these clicks. Like, that's all you hear. And that's beautiful, not just with the music, but the lack of music. How the sound of nothing can also drive you. The sound of just the environment can move you, can drive you. And that's also important.
The sound of silence.
Yeah, the aspect of what we had, Chris and I, or actually all of us, had in band.
Wait,
was
Jason, you were in band?
Never.
Okay, everyone minus Jason. We all had. Oh my gosh, everyone except Jason had that the rest are important, and it's amazing how video games are also using that concept. It's like the sound of nothing, just the environment around you is just as important as having a music, like in a scary movie, how it moves the plot. Like if you just watch a scary movie with no sound, it's like, okay, ooh, you got me. Ooh, I'm so scared. But it's the music. It also is the lack of music also driving you. I thought that's very interesting.
What about Jason or Eves? Do you guys have a video game experience where the music just completely changes what everything was happening before then?
Well, I can ride on Final Fantasy all night in terms of what they do well, and music is definitely one of those. Because especially like in 7, in 10, in 6, in 4, all the ones that are like highly acclaimed with really good story, the way that the composer puts the music together and arranges the music helps tell that story so much, to the point that, for example, the end of Final Fantasy VI was a 21-minute scene, and it was composed beautifully. And if you watch the entire scene, you get teary-eyed at the end of it. Because 6, the reason why it's so acclaimed, maybe a little more than 7, is because it's the only one where technically the bad guy kind of wins. Because the bad guy isn't out to destroy the world or anything. He's out to bring chaos. He's the guy's name is Kefka, and he's basically like a mad clown. And all he does is he wants to bring chaos into the world. And he accomplishes it. So even though you defeat him, in your victory, there's still chaos. So you still like see this 21-minute scene, and you're like, well, shit.
And the music just enhanced it all.
Yeah,
Everything.
the music. Like in Final Fantasy VII, the very first scene of Final Fantasy VII, you're getting off on a train, and the music starts, and you're you play this level, and it's pretty much it's blowing every experience you've ever had with a video game out of the water. When Final Fantasy VII came out, I remember I had the PlayStation. I got the PlayStation that Christmas with the game. I had played games like, Donkey Kong Country and Crash Bandicoot or stuff like that.
Right.
Or not, to some extent, Sonic and those kind of games. And then this comes out and blows you away. The music, when you get to the boss at the end of the first reactor, whatever, and you first go into the battle and the whole screen starts, and the music starts. Like you're like,
That's
oh
what
my
I'm talking
god,
about.
yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
exactly
talking
what
about.
happens. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And then when you win, it's just
And
great.
you get chills in that game when you get to the end of the game and you realize you're fighting this one guy, Sephiroth, and that song that he has behind him. It's one of the most evil, ominous songs I've ever heard.
So
and
good.
Alan,
You mean my mom's ringtone?
exactly.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Halfbeard.
Going on with the Final Fantasy theme, one of the most emotional themes out for me is the Final Fantasy X, the To Xanarkin. That song is so powerful, especially in my experience, because back in the day, I've only played one Final Fantasy game. It's Final Fantasy X, and at that point, I was really kind of young. I had no idea what this RPG was, and I would sit down with my brother and watch him play, and I'd be like, "Oh, do a haste because that makes you faster. You can do more moves, haha." You know, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but as just a visual, I'm watching this game, and all of a sudden, this song comes up at this really emotional part, and I'm telling you, to this day, whenever I hear that song, I still get a little bit of tear in my eye.
Really?
It's just the song is powerful, but it also has such sentimental value to me of a time where I would sit in the living room with my brother, and even sometimes with my parents behind us, just watching us play, and it's an amazing experience that it delves into the music, and whenever I hear that, it takes me back all the way back there.
I think that also has to go along with why they take it so personally as well, because there's so much more sentimental value with games and entertainment than there is, playing basketball or watching a team, because the sentimental aspects of the sports is when, not the actual sport itself. You don't cry when they make the jump, like when LeBron or Ray Allen makes a jump shot. You cry because you were there with your grandfather and you got to share it with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that also tells to why they get more defensive.
You grow up and video games, and a large part of anything you're really into, but video games for us has been something that's connected us. Like, I experienced Uncharted with Halfbeard. I've played all kinds of games with a lot of you guys all in here.
Not
they're,
me.
They're well, no, you and me and FIFA.
That's true.
It's just something we've done together, and it ends up being part. As you like that game, then you and your friend like that game, and it's something you both have done together.
Right.
It's why we get a bit antsy when things are brought against us by Carlos.
Right.
Even then, something else to kind of build on, like the way that we feel about games compared to sports is like we can get happy when like LeBron makes a shot, or Ray Allen nailed the 3 in Game 6. We were ecstatic, but
I humped the couch.
I know you did.
Yeah,
I was sitting next to you. It was great, and but we don't know those people. We don't know their lives, so we're not really attached to it. So we live for that moment, and that's it.
Good point.
If you play a game, especially a game that's long, like a Final Fantasy, or even a game that is just so packed into story that even though it might be short, you get so attached to those characters that it changes everything for you, and you remember the tiny details about what you were doing at that moment, and how you felt when that song started playing. And it's just, video games create this extra world for you that it's one of the best mediums to tell a story if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I have Cloud's Buster Sword on my wall to this day because of how these games get into you. Since the first time I saw that scene on the train and whatever, and played the game and played it whole through, you become these characters. You play through their lives. Yeah, that's why they're so emotional when you hear the music and you hear everything, all the cues.
Yep.
Works out so good.
From one generation of old games, Keith's music leads us into the next generation. This is going to be the new format of video games. Whether we're ready for it or not, it's what's going to happen. And Xbox is sort of leading the way. We started it. Xbox is now taking charge and leading the way, where they wanted motion sensor, they wanted more interactive interface, voice control. That never used to happen. What are you squinting at me for, Alan?
I squinted at you because motion controls have been around before Xbox threw them in there. With the Wii, with PlayStation Eye, they've existed. The difference is because Microsoft kind of claims the populace with things like Call of Duty's exclusiveness, with Halo. You don't realize it. But these things were around before.
Yeah, but do you remember the Eye? That thing was a piece of garbage.
No, I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying, but they existed.
But I'm saying
everything was
away.
in step.
But I'm saying leading the way is Microsoft is taking the Kinect places where we never took their Wii remote
Yeah,
control.
the Microsoft didn't make the first console, but they made a damn good console. Microsoft didn't make the first motion control. I mean, the Kinect still sucks, but it's at least the best version of the motion. I mean, excluding the Wii, because Wii is
they're
just
emphasizing it. They're emphasizing it more. That's what I was saying, that Microsoft is now pushing the boundaries on where the motion sensor, voice activated, eye recognition, facial recognition, they're pushing it more than Sony or Nintendo or anywhere else.
Yeah, as soon as you sit down, it knows who you are, and it
Right.
pops up all your settings, your profile, everything.
So this is going to be the new wave of how kids are going to play video games. For us older 2D handheld games, Game Boy, how are you viewing this next step in video game consoles? Because we're all console people here. People will always be a diehard PC, and I'm not sure how PC can change. But when we're talking about the console, and they're not removing the control from our hands, but they're like making it different than what we're used to. How do you guys see this next step going?
For the most part, I think the changes for
Why did you put these fries in front of me, by the way? I've been eating them. This is
Look,
terrible.
man, I did not know the large was a box at KFC. I did not want a box. So you have taken them from me. My mother thanks you. I'm not going to get into the next gen soon. But when I do, the things that it'll add as far as the motion and like Sony has some of the stuff you're talking about, it isn't going to affect me greatly because Netflix, whether I have to wave a hand, which means I'd have to buy the camera, or I'd have to say in my earpiece, PlayStation, Netflix. I mean, I could do it with my finger too. It's not really gonna impede me either way.
Right.
It's gonna be nice that the idea that if I had the camera, I could sit there and if it sees my face and I put the controller in the right spot, it'll recognize who I am and go to my stuff. It'll be nice to be able to lock a console that way, but in my house, it's not that big of a deal anymore. So, for me, it doesn't affect me that much.
I see it as the way most things happen. Like, everyone hates change.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as something changes, everyone is super pissed about it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe it's changing. I'm so used to this. I want to keep this.
I can't believe Ben Affleck's going to be Batman.
Right. That's a whole nother subject. But ever since we started playing games, like our generation, it was always a controller. We're so used to moving things with the controller that an aspect was like, oh, I just sit there and say Netflix, Xbox, Netflix. Like, oh, why do I need to do that when I can just scroll over?
Mm-hmm.
But I see as time goes on, we're going to look at the controller and be like, how could I even function with this thing? I just have to think it, and then I just speak it, and it just happens.
Right.
I see as of right now, everyone's going to hate it. Everyone's going to, well, not everyone, but the populace is going to hate it. They hate the change. They dislike getting away from the things that we're used to, that we're familiar to. But I see as time goes on, people are going to say, man, all I have to say is TV. All I have to say is Netflix, and boom, I'm there.
Right.
Now, from a gaming standpoint, how do you see a difference? Because from what I've read, because Kinect's already gotten stuff out there. They've had guys at IGN test it. It's better, but it's not anything anyone really cares about.
Yeah, because
they still need the analog button inputs for actual. Like they had the fighting game. There was 2 fighting games. One was bad. The other one wasn't bad, but they said it's not enough where you're going to go out of your way to do it.
But the thing is, the technology right now, what the people are using, they just don't know how to use it. I mean, and plus, video gamers, they're lazy. Do you want to stand up and start swinging your arm around? No, by 5 minutes to the game, you haven't even reached a checkpoint, and you're already tired and getting water. I got a break.
I'll never play Dance Dance Revolution.
No, you want something in your hand. You just want to sit down and play with the controller. Like, I understand that, but I mean, if you're going for what's out there now, I mean, of course, I mean it's the Kinect is relatively new. You're not gonna get the best games. I mean, when they first came out with a console,
right?
If you look back at Pong, I mean, wow, you got 2 sticks bouncing around. But as time goes, it's gonna be developers for that.
I guess the question that I should ask is, are you guys excited or are you guys looking forward to the new generation that's coming out? Because it's going to be more interface, more personalizing, everything involved with it.
Newer is always better.
It's setting up, and I know both are doing roughly the same thing. Your account is connected to your Facebook, to your Twitter. I'm not sure how Xbox One's doing it with in-game sharing. I know Sony has it, that once everything's connected, you can record yourself playing, put it on Ustream immediately, have it posted on your Facebook and your Twitter. You can have people watch you as you play, and they can comment on you as you're playing. Whoa. I have no problem with any of that, especially considering both sides. For all that I give Xbox crap, both sides are going to come out with spectacular products, with great games. They're just going to be enjoyable. Like, I'd love to play Titanfall. I might not ever get the chance, but I'd love to play it. It looks like a great game. Mm-hmm. And by the same token, let's say Eves goes to Xbox One. He'd love to play the next Infamous or the next God of War or the next Uncharted. So no matter which way you go, I think you're going to win out. It's just a matter of, little taste. Like, what's your taste? What do you care for? But then this next generation is going to be spectacular because storytelling has gotten so good. And some of the developers, Bungie, Naughty Dog, they have been great. And they can only maintain it at this point.
When you see these games that are coming out and what's to be expected, are the kids that are younger than us, do you think not that they'll appreciate, because we never appreciate anything when we're younger, but that they're going to see and like, my God, it's not like you said, it's not Donkey Kong Country, where it's just menial tasks, get the coins like we had. This is like actual worlds that they're living in.
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm not sure they'll appreciate it until they get some age. Until they've lived long enough to realize that what they played was actually art. Like, I don't know about you guys with Final Fantasy. I'm sure you enjoy the game, but I'm not sure how much you guys looked at the game as a piece of art.
Well, actually, I did kind of see Final Fantasy VII.
Me too.
Because it kind of blew my mind out of, because that's what Mario and those are games before the games I played. Final Fantasy VII was this RPG. I never touched an RPG before that either. So it was like this decision making, all these choices I can make. It was a whole life I could play pretty much in a game. So I think there is.
Going back to your point, Chris, I think it's just the culture that they're the environment that they're in. Mm-hmm. They're so used to these grand worlds because that's their first experience. They have no idea of going into Donkey Kong Country and having such a simplistic thing of just getting bananas,
Yeah.
I need to fill up my banana hoard, that's my only goal.
I'm sure they'll still have that because of like iPhone games and the like.
And indie games now making a big push on both consoles.
Yeah, and old 8-bit games coming out, they're actually pretty good.
But even those are still somewhat complex.
Yeah, because they make them
relatively
nowadays.
to what we had back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And is of that thing of appreciating it, it's kind of a gray area because they know what they're in. They have an idea. Now with the storytelling and everything, that's kind of like beyond, because that doesn't really have to do anything with the actual new consoles. Storytelling is storytelling. They've been telling stories since the beginning of time.
Right.
But the actual like environments of that, I think they know what they are. Like, imagine a kid just coming in playing Skyrim, having this enormous world, and it's just a million things to do there. I mean, that's their norm.
Mm-hmm. I guess appreciate wasn't the word I was looking for. It's more along the lines of when we were growing up, our goal was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Finish the map.
That's it.
Spin the little picture.
Yeah. For them, it's just like, the Mass Effect character when you're Shepard. That was his name, Shepard?
Yeah, Shepard. The first name was, it was John Shepard.
Yeah, whatever it was.
The first name was you.
And that's the other lady.
Yeah.
lady
No, because I got thrown off.
Then you were FemShep.
FemShep.
Yeah, I got thrown off because of watching Firefly and from Shepard there.
Firefly.
Yeah.
But when they see the stories that I look back now at the games that I used to play and I used to really, really enjoy, like Mega Man or something.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now it's like Mega Man would be so boring; it would be put to the side.
Play it again. Play it again. It won't be boring.
No, I'm saying
for new people. Yeah.
They have played these amazing games like Last of Us, Skyrim, and all of a sudden they go back to Mega Man. It was like there's just these bosses.
Right.
I mean, it's a simplistic story.
Yeah.
Kill these bosses so you get to an older guy as a boss, and then you kill him. Oh, okay, great. But the thing is, like, that's how we had it back then.
Right.
So I mean, we going back to appreciate. We do appreciate those things are what they are now, but. Like I said, it's different times.
I mean, even before us, when like our parents, they're like Pac-Man. You know what I mean? Just gather all the dots. Like
we're talking about my uncle in between the thing. He can't let go that his gaming of NES to about N64. That's gaming. Everything after that is shit. He can't let go of it.
That's such a funny argument.
He can't let go of it.
He's a hipster.
He's retro. Like he won't play.
If you can't blow in the cartridge.
see, but that would be the argument of someone who appreciates gaming. His view is it's gotten more complex than him, so he's bad at it. For instance, you guys have all played Mod Nation Racing.
Yeah.
It's not Mario Kart, but it's pretty close.
Yep.
He won't play it because even if I put him in a Mario Kart level and he loses, he'll say this game is shit. Why you have this? Well, I don't understand. Why are you in a game with guns? That's stupid. Why are you in a game that's fighting? It's stupid. Mm-hmm. But that goes back to he only knows Galaga and Dig Dug.
Well, I think it's amazing that, someone like your uncle even plays N64 type games. Because, I had to help my mom change, the date on the VCR and different things. She wasn't going to be playing no games.
Oh, don't worry. I have plenty of stories about my uncle not knowing how to use an iPod.
Oh, but there's my aunt. She, my little cousin used to have Sonic. We used to play Sonic a lot on his Sega. He had Sega, I had Nintendo. That's how it was back in the day. Sega, Nintendo instead of Xbox and PS4. But she was all up in that game. She knew all the codes by heart, so she would put in the codes for us, and we can go to any level or fly tails in that awesome, biplane type situation. Awesome. But that I think that was more for her and her kids. I don't think she was like playing Sonic when he wasn't around. Very cool.
Just that image of your aunt just like waiting for you guys to go to bed. It's like finally I can play this game.
Goddamn Dr. Robotnik!
Just to make a complete left turn here and sort of pick up where we left off in the bonus segment. Firefly.
Okay.
So
you just watched it?
Did you
finish it?
I finished it.
Please tell.
Wow.
How do you not finish it?
You got engulfed, didn't you?
I finished it.
You got engulfed.
And now you're super, super sad like the rest of us.
I want what is the backstory of Shepard? What is it?
There's a comic book.
They kept hinting for it, and we never got it.
There's a comic.
Well, I haven't read the comics, but I actually kind of appreciate that you don't really know where he's from. You don't really know who he is.
Because I think that suits his character.
Yeah, it suits his character so well because he's supposed to be, this man of God, and he's spreading the word. He has the Bible in his hand. All of a sudden, some guy comes and he just beats the crap out of him. Where did that? Like, who are you again?
Yeah.
And then when the people come in and to check the ship, and he gives them his qualifications, and he goes, "Oh, get these guys to the infirmary."
The Alliance.
The Alliance come out, and then you're like, Whoa! There's just so much more. Who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
You kind of spoiled it for me yesterday. Your favorite episode, the one with the Black Bounty Hunter, was the last episode.
That is the last episode.
I thought it was the second to last.
No, that is the last episode.
Oh, that is the last episode.
I hadn't seen it yet. I was waiting for 14 in the movie, and I was like, oh, my favorite one's the Bounty Hunter one. I'm like, what Bounty Hunter? So he kind of spoiled it a little bit, but it
really didn't, because that episode was
it was good.
Awesome.
No, it was a good episode.
Are you a lion? Am I a lion? I don't know. I do have a mighty roar. Yeah, that episode was great.
I love that guy.
That was great.
When he's walking and he goes, is it normal for you to punch out shepherds? And the guy's like, that's not a shepherd.
Yeah.
That man ain't no shepherd. Oh! That man ain't no shepherd. Yeah, man, it's a good show. And that was the last episode.
That was the last episode.
Man.
And then the movie, held up its part. I thought that I was a little bit cautious because the movie was 3 years after the season ended.
Yeah.
No,
The movie was 05.
The
movie was 05.
It was 05, yeah, so it was 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
It held up.
It was really good.
It was a long, really good episode.
Yeah. But
when you first see Serenity come down, you're like, wow, that thing looks good.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks so good. It was like,
what a
so
budget.
Nice.
What a budget.
I think my favorite episode was Janetown. The hero of Canton,
awesome.
the man they call Jane. I don't think I laughed as much as when what was it? I want to go to a crappy town where I'm a hero. Wash. So good.
It's funny watching that saga. I want to call it a saga, even though there's only been one season.
It is.
When you see the characters, because I kept referencing Mass Effect. I kept referencing what was another video game. I kept referencing the characters in that 14 episode and movie saga. It's like the characters of Mass Effect. They come close, but not even close because they're so rich.
Yeah.
Every character is so rich in the Firefly episodes that for me, they're the quintessential doctor, the quintessential meathead, the quintessential leader. Like everything that you want, they had them all.
Oh man, Sandy, here's a little trivia for you. You're a Halo fan,
Yes, sir.
as I am, and a Firefly fan. You would like to know that Captain Reynolds actually plays Buck. What is it, Commander Buck? He actually plays Buck. His face is directly based off of him. You can see his character design. It's the same voice. And on top of that, both Wash and Jane do voices for characters in Halo.
Really?
What was it, Halo 3 or Halo Reach?
Was it ODST?
I think no, it was definitely one of the main ones. But they did voices, and you can even hear, like Jane said, Vera's coming to get you. He was talking about his gun.
Yeah.
Vera, like it was so good, and they say
that's
other
awesome.
stuff. Like, check it out, Google it up, but it's out
will.
there, and it's really good. It's really awesome.
I don't know about Wash, but the other two are really into voice acting, right?
Yeah, they are.
I know Philly is.
I think Wash was just there as like a.
They just brought him in.
Threw him in.
Well, he's an actual actor. Like I've seen him in other
No,
movies.
they're all actual actors.
Wait. They're not all space smuggling pirate guys, because
they're all actors. Like Wash was in Transformers,
right?
And I'm sure Jane has been in other things.
Jane is in Chuck.
I know him. I know him more from voice acting. Was he Superman in one of the DC movies?
No,
you're thinking of Crunk.
He was mostly Green Lantern.
Oh no, Fillion was Lantern.
No, Adam Baldwin is.
He was Green Lantern too.
Yeah, he was also
wonderful. They were sharing roles.
Adam Baldwin is my favorite Baldwin, and he's not any of the Baldwin brothers. So
there's some trivia for you.
There is some trivia.
One of my favorite quotes from Nathan Fillion, which he's Captain Mao. On his Twitter, he says if there's anybody that you dislike, you show him Firefly, and you tell him that there's a season 2.
Oh,
Ooh.
ouch!
Yeah. So then they're watching this. Where's season 2? It's like it was canceled. Like no.
I see Nathan is aiming to misbehave on that one.
Aiming to misbehave.
Actually, you know what? I saw it on my Facebook feed. His Instagram was a picture of Jane wearing the hat.
Yeah. I saw
wearing
that
the hat for
recently.
Halloween.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
Jane, and he looks bigger too, Jane. Yeah, I love Firefly. I love the if you watch a Castle, the show Nathan Fillion's on now.
Yeah.
If you've seen any of the episodes, one of the episodes for Halloween, actually, he dresses up as a space cowboy, and he's actually just in his Malcolm Reynolds costume.
That's amazing.
It was really good.
God. Don't tell me that.
Yeah,
That was wonderful.
It was a really good reference.
That was a good episode.
And his daughter in the show is like, What are you doing? You wasn't that from like 5 years ago? Nobody cares about that anymore. Like, she tells them, directly referencing Firefly. It was really good.
Two things that I took away from Firefly. First of all, can we do Halloween as them? I want to dress up as them.
Yes.
So
Hell yeah, dude. What
man.
kind of question is that? Of course we can.
And every year if you want.
and then the second thing is
I'm going to the special hell.
When I was watching it,
that's a good Bible.
It was like
good Bible.
It was Mass Effect style almost. You know what I mean? Where the choices that they made, I felt like it could have been put on us, like almost where we could have been an extra crew member and just been a part of that world. Yeah, where I want it to be interactive with what it was.
Oh yeah.
Remember when the last show that we did, when I was talking about Firefly, it's like you're on this journey.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you
I
had
finally
the
saw
same
because of what
feeling.
you said, because
Yeah.
of what you guys said, really.
That is awesome. I'm stoked about that.
We're gonna go to break, unless you guys have anything extra to say.
No, we can move to our next subject.
We're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back. I want to get into the superhero aspect that you guys have to explain to me, and then I want to get some nerd admissions, the debate, and then we'll wrap it up after that. So don't go anywhere.